you to Filmland?
I've never been to Arkansas before. I grew up in Louisiana. I grew up in New Orleans, and I've never been here. And I've heard great things about the festival, and they invited me and want to celebrate the new film that I made called The Baltimorons, which is releasing theatrically this fall on September 12th in Little Rock. I just found out. So yeah, it's just fun to come celebrate a movie in the movie theater with film lovers and, you know, explore a new place and see what's going on over here.
Cool.
So can you tell me one of the favorite things that you experienced while filming this? It's kind of a vague question, but about this film in particular.
So The Baltimorons is a story about two unlikely characters who get stranded on Christmas Eve and are trying to make the best of it. And we filmed it in Baltimore all night during the Christmas season. It's a very handmade, homemade film. And we experienced all the wonderful and terrible things that Baltimore has to offer. And, you know, the whole thing was just a blast. It was, you know, I kind of returned to my roots on this one and just made a homemade movie with non-movie stars who just really wanted to be a part of making a great piece of art. And, you know, we followed our hearts, and it's pretty wild that we're going to get, you know, a pretty solid theatrical release. It's very rare to get a theatrical release for an independent film nowadays, especially one that doesn't have movie stars. I mean, Michael Strassner and Liz Larson, I think, will be movie stars, but yeah, it's pretty exciting to just to know that, you know, basically what I'm hearing from people when they leave the movie theater is like, this is the kind of movie I want to see on a Saturday night, and so it's cool. It feels like I threw a Hail Mary, and IFC, you know, caught the pass.
So yeah, you are kind of a southern guy, right?
Yeah, I grew up in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I'm a Louisiana boy.
Yeah. Oh, you are? Where are you from?
DeRitter,
DeRitter, huh?
southwest part of the
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
Yes, but your movie's set in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So was that difficult trying to kind of write something in a different region, or?
So my co-writer on this is Michael Strassner, who's the star of the film, and the film is basically, you know, loosely based on his life and his origin story of, you know, basically getting sober and learning how to be funny without alcohol and drugs. And he's from Baltimore originally and talks about it very fondly, and it's actually very much a sister city to New Orleans. It's a really special place. It has a lot of heart and a lot of heartache. You know, has a lot of darkness and a lot of magic around the corners. So I let him lead in terms of exactly what was true to Baltimore, and the film is definitely a love letter to Baltimore. And so he led on that, as well as our producer, David Bonnet, who's also from Baltimore. So, but yeah, I built the movie around Michael and his, you know, emergence from Baltimore. So that's how it all started.
So, as someone who's also from the South and from a place where the film industry isn't as big as it would be in say, Los Angeles, what kind of impact do film festivals like this have on the independent film landscape?
I mean, look, festivals like this are everything to independent films. First of all, you know, I premiered this film at South by Southwest in Austin. It won the audience award, and we sold it on the heels of that screening at that festival. So hugely, you know, you just can't, there's no other place to really sell a movie, because when you get to go to a festival and you get to put it in front of, you know, 400 people, 1,000 people, whatever it may be, the audience response is undeniable. So that's a huge deal. But, you know, also independent films are, you know, it's a tough landscape right now, and sometimes the festivals like this are the only places that you're actually going to get to see your movie play in front of audiences, you know, because we live in a streaming world now, and people don't want to leave their houses. They're happy when they do, but they don't want to do it. So, you know, I mean, I've been on a little bit of a tour with this film, going to festivals, and it's been, I don't know, it just renews my faith in, people wanting to come together and experience something together, because that's what a movie theater really is all about. It's like not just seeing something on a big screen and seeing and hearing it big and beautiful, but it's also about sharing it with other people, the people that you came with, and with strangers as well. So
it's the first movie that you've directed in 10 years?
14 years.
And it's the first one without your brother, right?
That's correct, yeah.
How does that feel to go at it alone?
It's so I came up writing and directing movies with my brother from 2005 to 2011. We made 5 feature films, all from, independent, homemade stuff up to major studio movies. Our last movie in that run was a $10 million movie that Paramount put out. It's been a long road for me to get back to this. It's taken us a long time to figure out that, well, we both knew that directing movies is really hard, and directing independent films is almost impossible. And it just took us a long time to figure out that that's not really what he wants to do, and that is actually exactly what I want to do. So originally we wanted to be the Coen Brothers 2.0 together. We had that moment for a little bit, but now I'm coming back on my own, and it was terrifying. It was totally terrifying. Nobody wants to be the solo act that falls very short of like the dynamic duo, you know what I mean? So it was very scary, but I just came from a place of, this is a story I want to tell, this is a movie I want to make, I love doing this, that's enough. And luckily it's been, probably our most successful movie on the festival circuit so far. So it's a relief that it wasn't, a giant collapse. Because I think what you're afraid of is that, people are going to say, oh, his brother was the one with the special sauce. You know what I mean? That's the terror. And, so far it doesn't feel like that's the case. We both are talented in our own ways, so it feels nice to see that play out.
Tell me a little bit about the choice to make it feel more like a homemade film than a polished product. What was that choice like?
I mean, the choice was really, to make a small indie was really just about the fact that, I was trying to get back to making movies. The longer you go without making a movie, the more Hollywood forgets about you. It really is not what have you done, but what have you done lately. Not to mention I was making a movie without my brother, so nobody knew if I would be any good. We went through the pandemic. That was an incredibly hard time for independent films, mainly because, if you're making a movie that costs $200,000, $300,000, your COVID budget is going to be more expensive than the movie itself. So that kind of died. And then I was building some films to try to make on the heels of that, and then we had our strikes. So I was really floundering there for a while, and by the time the strikes were wrapping up, I really thought to myself, I need to make a movie that's so homemade and so small that nobody can stop me from making it. So that was really the impetus behind it. But what's crazy is, these cameras are so incredible now. They are so, there's really very little barrier to entry to making something beautiful. I think it's probably the most beautiful film I've made. It's raw, but it is, I think it's a gorgeous movie. I hired a documentary cinematographer to shoot it. So it's very raw, but it's beautiful, and it is exciting now. The technology has advanced so much, and it's so affordable, that really the only limitation to making a good film now is your own creativity and ingenuity, which is terrifying. Can't blame it on the cameras or the film anymore.
Can we talk a little about tomorrow's workshop?
Sure.
Yeah, it's called Filmmaking During the Apocalypse.
Yes.
I'm curious, like, in what sense do you mean the apocalypse? Is it politically? Is it economically? Is it industry?
I think it's just a fun title because I think it feels like the end of the world right now. It hopefully isn't, but it certainly feels like the end of the world. And someone was saying that independent filmmaking now is like off Broadway. It does feel like the movies that are being made right now and being supported are giant universe movies, and that it's almost impossible to get an independent film seen. And that's where I come from. That's my original true love. I do TV, I do act in larger movies and stuff like that, but making original pieces of art is why I started this in the first place. I love it. It's undeniable. And so I think the feeling is like, everyone is telling you it's impossible. Everyone is telling you it won't work. How do you do it? How do you do it when everything feels like it's collapsing around you? And I really do believe that if this is what you love and this is, your passion, you have to do it. And you will find a way if you just keep doing it. So that's sort of what the talk is going to be centered around. I got as many questions as everybody else, so we'll see.
Would you be planning on making more films in the future after this one? And if so, would you probably think of coming back to Arkansas for like the festivals again?
Yeah, I already have shot another movie called See You When I See You, which I shot in Atlanta in the fall. I'm working on finishing it right now. And yeah, absolutely. I want to take it to festivals. I mean, I would love to come back here. I think, the one thing that I've learned is when you have a really good film, a really special film, the more people that see it means more people will see it. Because the real way that these movies get out into the world is that people that you love and trust see a movie and they're like, you have to see it, So that's what I hope we're doing here with this festival is like, obviously the major film fans are going to come to this. They're going to see this movie, and if they love it, they're going to tell their friends and loved ones to come out on September 12th and see it in the movie theater. And that's what we're all relying on to keep, independent film strong and safe.
So how does Filmland stack up against some of the more established film festivals you've been to?
I don't know. I just got here, but the hotel has been fantastic. I'll tell you that.
In the world of digital, I know you were saying it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible not to be able to make it, to my line of thinking, is because it doesn't cost that much for the gear. You can get $20,000 camera, even cheaper if you want to.
I shot mine on the $6,000 camera.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Final Cut Pro, you can edit it.
Yep.
HD, looks great because
Yep.
I've got it at the house.
Yep.
You can have digital sound. You can have a sound man,
Yeah.
reflecting boards. You could make a great film if you got a great story.
Yep.
$100,000.
I mean, look, let's be honest. You can shoot a movie on iPhone. I mean, we produced Sean Baker's Tangerine, which was the movie that he shot on iPhones. You can shoot a movie on iPhone. You need a microphone and you need a laptop. That's what you need to make a movie right now. And look, it may not look like a Christopher Nolan movie, but it can be beautiful and it can be stylized. It can be whatever it needs to be to serve the subject and the story. Because the truth is if you make a movie with an iPhone and a laptop that tells a great story and has great acting, there will be no stopping that movie. That movie won several Independent Spirit Awards and really put Sean Baker on the map that led to the Florida Project. And we all know what happened this year at the Oscars. It was a very quick path for him. So there really is no barrier to entry. You can shoot on weekends. You can shoot on nights and weekends. I know that you can make a feature film for free. I know you can do it. you know, it's nice to buy pizza for people who are going to come out and be in your movie. But if you're working with a collective and everybody wants to be a part of it and everybody wants to create a piece of art, there's no reason you can't do it for free.
The distribution nowadays, you don't need Paramount, you don't need Sony, you don't need anybody. You can live stream it yourself.
Yeah,
on
you can
YouTube.
post it on YouTube. You can create your own channel. You can take it to festivals and sell it to a streamer. You can, you know, there's a million avenues. There are, you know, the great thing about streaming and you know, free sources like YouTube are that you can post your movie and get it out into the world. The hard thing is now there's so much noise, you know. But that's where festivals come in handy is like festivals will tell you what are the films that you need to see, because there are a lot of films being made and there's a lot of up and comers, and people can't be expected to make masterpieces in their first movie. You know, it's a very complex art form and it takes a while, and that's also what's great about film festivals is supporting filmmakers who make short films or filmmakers who made a feature film that might not, you know, be suitable for, you know, theatrical release, but like shows a ton of talent and excitement, and you know, so it's really like a, you know, a farm team situation for the major leagues.
What's your favorite length of film?
My favorite length of film. I used to love a tight, heartfelt comedy like Annie Hall's 88 Minutes. Most of my movies used to be that length. My last 2 movies are an hour and 43 minutes, so it's growing. Judd Apatow actually told me, he was like, your movies need to be longer, man. People need more time to invest in the characters, and I think he might be right. But for hard comedies, 88 minutes. Yeah.
So bringing you back to this present moment, after creating the film, the post-production, all of the struggle and heartache and joy that goes into that process, how does it feel to be at the point where you're telling people to come see your film?
Feels great. It feels great to come to a place that, you know, they flew me here, they put me in a nice hotel, they are going to put my film up on a big screen and celebrate it with strangers. I mean, it's a beautiful process. I mean, making movies is weird. You know, you come up with the idea in hopes that 3 years later, strangers are going to watch your movie in a dark movie theater. And, you know, film festivals like this is the first place that starts to happen. So it's magical to me. And it's also not lost on me that the people who are coming to see it at this festival are film lovers, and they're here to celebrate it. And that's what I want to do. I want to celebrate my favorite art form, and they're here to do that too. So it's just kind of like, you know, a fun party where everybody's on the same page, and that's so rare in these times, in these apocalyptic times.
So ever since like the puffy chair, you've also kind of worn the hat of producer.
Yes.
So I have a question, kind of an Arkansas-centric question, because the past year or so we've had issues with tax incentives.
Yep.
And trying to bring movies here. So kind of like as looking through the producer's lens, like what do you look for when you're choosing a location or a state to shoot in? What's like the perfect tax incentive for a region?
I mean, as a director, I'm always just looking for a location that matters to the story and that feels germane to the story and is beautiful or horrible looking, whatever it is that you need. But yeah, as a producer, it really comes down to tax incentives nowadays. It's tough. I mean, for the larger movies that I produce and direct, I am not putting up the money for that, but the investors sure want it to be as cheap as possible. And, you know, my last film that I directed was set in Denver. It's a true story set in Denver, and it was shot in Atlanta. And we had to work our little tails off to try and find locations and streets and, you know, and greenery that looked like it could actually exist in Denver, because Atlanta had the best tax incentive at that moment and the most crew available too. The right crew was available at that time. So, you know, I have all my ideas about what I want, but I have to let go of them to some degree to get the movie made.
So it's worth the headache?
Yeah, it's worth the headache. I mean, you know, anytime somebody's willing to give me millions of dollars to make a movie, I'm amazed and I will obey.
So, I've done like writing comedy stuff myself in my personal projects. What are some challenges you face, like just like making comedies? Because
Yeah.
funny is a little.
Funny is crazy hard. It's crazy, crazy hard. And the only way I know how to do it is to write what is funny to me in the moment, and then if you come back 2 months later and you read it and it's not funny, you got to rewrite it. And then if you shoot it on set and it's not funny, you got to rewrite it and reshoot it. And if it's not funny after you've shot it, you got to fix it in editorial and make it funny. Same thing with meaningful, same thing with, you know, emotional. All those things have to constantly be readjusted along the way. And I think the only mistake you can really make is just assuming because it was funny at one time, it still is funny. You know, context is everything. Something that's funny in a room on a Tuesday night at 3 in the morning might just be funny because you were delirious, you know? So you constantly have to be analyzing things and being honest about what exactly you're getting. And I think as long as that's what being an artist is really all about, is just being in the moment and being honest about what you're creating and the impact that it's having, and you know, trying to stay true to that.
We got 5 minutes.
What's the message that you'd like to send to all the students that are going to be showing their short films this week?
God, make a lot of movies. Just make a lot of movies. Stop thinking about movies. Stop talking about making movies. Stop making meetings about making movies and make movies, because it's very easy to confuse thinking about movies with making movies. Certain amount of thinking has to go into it for sure, but you know, I think it is a volume game. We have this like, you know, bad idea in our culture, because we've all seen so many movies and we watch so much TV, that we should be able to wake up and just make something great or not. And the truth is it couldn't be further from the truth. There's so much craft in terms of writing a good story, directing one, the cinematography, everything that goes into making a movie is many, many layers of craft. No one would ever think to make a painting on a Tuesday morning and think that they could sell that painting and that everybody would want it, you know? But that's how people think about movies, and it shouldn't be that way. Like, make movies, make a lot of them, make them very cheaply so that you can fail and get up off the ground again and make another one, because it's a hard thing to get right, and you need to give yourself the time to find it, and to find what you uniquely have to offer the world.
I feel targeted with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there a question that you feel we should have asked you that you would like to ask?
That's a great question. No, I don't have anything to say I mean, what's interesting is that I don't mind talking about my movie, but like, or talking about making movies in general. But what I find odd is that the communication is the movie. That actually is the communication. So it's always a little awkward to articulate a bunch of things after you made the movie, because it's like, well, that's what I wanted to say. What the movie says is what I actually want to say, not these impromptu answers that I'm coming up with here and now, you know, because people are asking questions. But if people are genuinely interested, I'm genuinely interested in answering those questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.